Hello, everyone, and how are you all doing tonight? This is Speak Up Sis Talk Show, and my name is Angel Charmaine. I'm your host. The Speak Up Sis Talk Show is the place where authors have an opportunity to, or self-published authors especially, have an opportunity to share the word of their testimony through their written work in order to inspire you to open up your mouth and to share yours. So just now, you just saw When I Met Him, which is one of my works. You can most definitely get a copy of it at speakupsis.com/bookshelf on our bookshelf. But tonight, we are going to get an opportunity to meet a new author. She's a beautiful spirit. I think y'all are going to love her. And she's a first-time children's book author. So I'm going to bring on up Miss Cynthia Sanders. I was saying Cynthia and Sanders at the same time.
That's fine.
I want you all to meet Miss Cynthia Sanders. How are you? And welcome to Speak Up Sis Talk Show, Cynthia.
Thank you. I'm great. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for
That's
asking.
good.
So, for those of you who know me, you know I'm always out looking for people. Always looking, looking for talent, looking for people who need a platform, looking for people who have something to say and are looking for a place to say it. And Cynthia and I are actually in a group together. I believe it's an authors group. And I saw her beautiful book. And I was like, I love the cover.
Oh, thank you.
I
Thank
love
you.
the cover. So now she's here. Her book is on Speak Up Sis bookshelf, and we'll talk about that at the end of this. But Cynthia, if you will, please tell the people a little bit about who you are.
Okay. Well, I'm 25 years old. I grew up in Stockton, California. I moved to Henderson, Nevada with my family at 17, and I completed my senior year at a high school. And I've pretty much been writing since I was like in middle school. I don't know what drove me to it, but I just started writing. And every time I would do my chores, we always got chore money. And I would tell my family to take me to like the Dollar Tree or whatever. We live, not too far from a Dollar Tree. And I would use my chore money to buy notepads or notebooks and pens. And I would just start writing like the name and the story would just come. And sometimes it can be from TV shows I watched or being around older cousins at the time or just seeing different things. And so I always had a passion for writing. I started with poems, but it wasn't really in my heart to do a poem. So I just started writing stories, like teen drama stories. And I started reading like African American urban fiction, novels and books and stuff like that in high school.
Right.
And so what drove me to write, Mia is because I got sick with the virus and I was just like, I feel like I was on my deathbed. So, and then something just sparked in me to like write again. I was like, I want to write something. And somebody put it in me, I guess my grandmother, because my grandmother knew I loved writing and she's no longer here with me physically, but she's here with me spiritually. Thank you. She's here with me spiritually. And I lost her at 15. I was still in high school. And she was like my best friend. She knew I loved to write poems. She wrote poems. She wrote songs. She with her siblings. She sung and everything, or sing. But she knew I had a passion for it, and I guess she must have put the spirit in me to write a children's book. I didn't see myself as a children's book. Romance. I like African American novels. I like that type of stuff, drama, fairy tale movies and stuff. I'm not really a children's book. I don't have, any kids. So I'm like, why would I write a children's book? But I guess,
But you did.
Yeah, I did. And it's to reach out to parents with their kids who, fear, different things or doubt themselves, and to reach out to young readers who, probably don't read and probably don't know how to get over their fears and get over, their doubts. So I definitely was me at one point when I was a little girl. I always had fears. I cared what others said about me and thought about me. My weight went up and down. I was either skinny or I was either chubby. So I used to get bullied a lot,
Girl,
growing up.
I think that's a lot of our story. I totally can relate to having the fluctuations in weight and being concerned about what people say and all of the other things that happen. So I can totally get that. We have some guests here tonight, so we're going to make sure that before we jump really good into this, because tonight, everybody, we're going to be talking about fear and courage. That is what Cynthia's children's book is all about. But before we jump into that, let's just kind of acknowledge who we see in the building. And wait a minute, Cynthia Boyd. Y'all got the same name. Is that mom?
That's Aunt. That's who I'm named
Auntie. Okay. She says, my namesake, family supporting you from Stockton, California. Our village is proud of you. Yeah.
Thank you. Hey.
Hello, family.
I miss my hometown. Yes.
That's your hometown.
Yeah. Well, I was born and raised. Yes.
That is what's up. Hello, I am Valerie Champion. How you doing, sis? It's good to see you. Valerie Champion is an author who is a part of the Speak Up Sis community, and she's also an author on the bookshelf. She says, I have my copy. All right, that's what we're talking about.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support.
Yes. Thank you so much. Valerie, she is amazing. She's somebody that you definitely want to connect with if you're looking to connect with other amazing authors. Okay. So those of you who are watching, feel free. You can put comments in there. We will address them. If you have questions for Cynthia, you can ask them. We will you're included in the conversation tonight. All right. So let's go back to talking about fear and courage. You wrote a children's book and you said you actually prefer writing stories and reading romance. Girl, I think that's a thing too. When I was younger, romance novels was it for me. Like Danielle Steele, my auntie gave me my first book. It was Danielle Steele. Do you know who Danielle Steele is?
I never heard of that name. Sounds familiar. I probably came across her work, but
because she white and she old, and I'm older than you. So
maybe that's why, yeah.
Yes, now we got all this glow up, black people doing everything, right? But back then, Danielle Steele was a romance novelist, a white woman. But my aunt used to read her and she gave me one and I fell in love with romance novels. It didn't matter that the cowboys were white and in Montana somewhere. I didn't care. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I get that romance thing. So I'm trying to figure out the shift to a children's book. So were you Mia or did you know little Mia's? Is that what led you to create Mia? And for those of you who don't know, the name of the book is Mia, the Monster of Fear and the Fairy of Courage.
Yes, that's what's
so. Were you Mia?
I would feel like at one point I was Mia, like definitely in high school. But I figured in her a little bit younger, I didn't want to make her like 16 looking or whatever. In high school, I would say middle school, high school, I definitely had my insecurities. I definitely was feeling the puberty kicking in and, what other kids thought of me and even adults at times, sometimes adults can be a little mean as well to a child.
Yes.
And, I definitely was Mia at one point and I still kind of am, Mia at some point. Like sometimes I still have my fears and, I still have my doubts about myself and I still look in the mirror. I still have my insecurities when I look in the mirror. Most days I'm like, I know I'm beautiful. And then some days I'm like, oh my God, like why am I so heavy at my age? Like, why don't I look like Megan Thee Stallion or Sweetie or whatever,
Right.
So it's like, at one point I did, I was a small petite girl, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened. I don't have any kids, or how did I get so big? But
Life
I love food.
happens.
I love, life, stress, relationships.
Life
Sometimes family can
happens.
stress you out, or I can stress myself out. I love to eat. I love food. That's like a black thing. I don't know, but I love me. I love to eat. So I definitely was Mia at some point. I actually
Mhm.
came across some little kids who were like Mia at some point.
Uh-huh.
They actually stayed with my family, because I stay with family here, and my
Right.
mother and stuff like that. And it actually was a girl who had like 6 girls here, and they all had different personalities, and they loved to
Wow.
be around me and my boyfriend, and
Mm-hmm.
they loved to be around us. And I just saw the different personalities. She had one kid, she was like really young, like 3 or 4, and she was like feeling down all the time. Like, why is a
Right.
4-year-old little girl, little black girl, feeling down? Horrible. She was smart. She
Mm-hmm.
knew how to draw color. Like, she knew certain words that her other sisters, didn't know. So it was like, I definitely saw Mia in like different kids that I've been around. I've been around kids since I was a teenager. They just
Right.
like gravitate towards me. I don't know what it is sometimes. Sometimes I try to get away from them, like, get away from me. Like, I don't have none. Like, y'all not my kids. But they just love to be around me. And so I ran into a whole bunch of Mias, growing up and seeing them. And it's like, when they're so young, it's like, why do they feel like that at such a young
Right.
age? You shouldn't feel like that until you hit like maybe like 16 or something, but
And
even
do
then.
we have to and do we even have to feel like that even at 16? I think that a book like yours is so important. And how you doing, Pamela Nichols? It's good to see you. Ashana, thank you for coming into the building tonight as well. Live life like leak. How you doing? Thank you for joining us as well. So here's the thing. I think just like Pamela said, kids these days need this book. I think kids, period, kids in my day, kids prior to me, kids in this current day need books that talk about how to have or how to get rid of fear, how to deal with fear, to recognize fear, and at the same time, how to have courage. I think a lot of times when we talk about fear and courage, we feel like even as adults, because you said like 16, but even as adults, don't you think sometimes we think that to be courageous means we can't have fear? And that's just not
Yeah.
true,
Yeah, it's
right?
not true. Yeah.
It's
Like I
not
said,
true.
I'm 25, and I still feel like Mia at times. Like, when it's time for me to do my book signing, I'm definitely going to have them nerves going, like, oh my gosh. Because, with the whole virus and everything
Mm-hmm.
picking up, and then how people have changed since the pandemic, I just don't know what to expect or what to go into. So I'm definitely
You're,
nervous to do a book signing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like debating. My husband's like, or my boyfriend, he's like, you're gonna do it. Like, you have to do it.
of course, you're
Going
going to
to.
do it. And now you're here on Speak Up Sis Bookshelf. You're definitely going to have to do that book signing, whether it's in person or whether it's virtual. We are going to support you. That's what we do here in the Speak Up Sis
Yes.
community. Your cousin says, I'm Mia every other month.
Aww.
It's
Yeah, and that
right.
happens. It's life. It can go up and down. Like I said, the next day I can be Mia, and then the next, the other day I'm okay, and then I'm confident, then I'm not confident, and then I'm doubting myself, and then it's like
Mm-hmm.
I can do it. So it's like I'm up and down. It's like a roller coaster. I'm up
Yeah.
and then I'm down, and then it's like I'm confident, then I'm not confident, then I feel good about how I look, and then the next day I'm
Mhm.
like, oh my God, I'm like really heavy. And it's like, why do I look like this?
But the beauty about what you've done is
Yeah.
that you've given a young girl or young kids, because I'm sure children of any gender could read this book, and you've given them something that even we need as adults. We find it in big people books. We've got
Hmm.
self-help and self-improvement and people teaching us how to shift mindset, and we've got books that we can go read for ourselves. But how many people are writing books about fear and courage and mindset and all of these things at the children's book level? You have done that, and I think that's
Yeah.
pretty amazing. actually. I mean,
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I figured that it wasn't really a lot of children books that talk to children, because kids do deal with it. I think as adults, we think like, okay, they're kids. They shouldn't be thinking about that. They
mm-hmm,
should be thinking about playing hopscotch or playing
mm-hmm,
tag or going outside and, playing in the grass or something like that.
right.
Like that's how we think. But we have to remember that we were once kids too. Like we had
That's
our
right.
doubts too, but we probably were told to push it along. You know what I'm saying? Like we probably were told something different growing up. Our parents probably told us, hey, get over it. You're a kid, go play, go do this. But now it's different. Kids are really like, need somebody to talk to. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's why kids gravitate towards me. And I'm like, I know how to talk to them, even though I'm not a mother yet. I just know how to talk to other people's kids and, make them feel like they are beautiful and that they
Right.
are, they are somebody, they are special, and they can be whatever they want, whatever they want to be, whatever they put their mind to. And they
Right.
don't have a lot of older people, even their parents are not telling them this, this to encourage parents to sit down and talk with their kids.
Right. And excuse me, there's a little bit of a breakup and delay, so excuse me for that, but you're
Okay,
fine.
okay, okay.
At the beginning, you said, I don't know what led me to write a children's book, but as I listened to you, I can see why you wrote a children's book. It sounds like you just have a natural love for kids. I don't believe that a person has to be um, a birth parent in order to positively impact and influence a child. I don't think you have to be a birth parent to negatively influence a child either, right? So I think that you're in your lane. I really
Yeah,
do, and I'm really
thank
excited that
you.
you have written this book. So let's talk about the book itself. Um,
Okay.
excuse me. So Mia,
Hmm.
how does she, and without giving us a spoiler, without spoiling it, can you tell us what maybe leads her to this place of overcoming fear or being courageous despite fear? Can you give us a little taste of what we can expect in the book?
What you can expect about Mia in the book, how she gets, rid of her fear, how she gets over it, is because a little cute little fairy, I mean, it's in the title, but
Uh-huh.
cute little fairy comes to her and shows her something different, shows her that she can be a doctor or a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And, to get rid of that evil thought in her head or that evil, monster that's telling her that she's not smart enough, she's not good enough to learn, what the teacher is putting out at her new school. She's not smart as the other kids or
Mm-hmm.
classmates. So the fairy is showing her something different. And the fairy is showing her that she is just as equally smart as the other kids in her school or in her class. And so, Mia just gets rid of him in a different way. And
Uh-huh.
it's, like I said, it's shown in the book, and I'm sure that'll probably be one of the kids' favorite parts, seeing how Mia throws away the monster, of course. And yeah, she definitely gravitates towards the fairy, and
Mm-hmm.
the fairy becomes like her little, kind of like the fairy odd parents, how
Uh-huh.
he had the fairies with him. So that's kind of how the fairy's going to be with Mia. So I'm just
Oh.
going to have her definitely throughout, if I make a part two, or when I make a part two, a
Mm-hmm.
series to Mia, she's definitely going to be there like her fairly odd parent.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I
Yes.
love it. And
And it's definitely, I'm sorry.
oh no, go ahead. Go
It's
ahead.
definitely going to be more than just one fairy. They're all going to be different, different,
I like that you
colors
are
and everything.
thinking beyond this first book. The
Yeah.
idea or the thought that this is a series and that there's going to be more than one fairy. I can just think of all of the different types of things that these fairies can help children to overcome. Listen, I think it's amazing. It's a beautiful concept.
Yeah.
I'm totally looking
Thank
forward
you.
to. Oh, you're welcome.
You should
Um,
thank my boyfriend for this, because he's the one, and my mother and everybody else. They're like, yeah, make it a series, make it a series. Because I was just going to stop at this one book and then go to my
nice.
romance.
and get back to no. You know what? You can always write. You can always
Yes.
write romance. The beautiful thing
Yes.
about being a writer is you can move in between genres. You can stick with a genre. You can do whatever you want to do as a
Mhm.
writer.
Yeah.
However, I think you have something really special here
Yeah.
with this fairy. And
Mhm.
when I think about it, it actually puts me in the mind of even as adults, I think showing a child early on that mentorship is good, the
Mhm.
fairy being wise counsel, having this person who's showing you a different route, exposing you to different things to help
Mhm.
you deal with those shadow people. That's a good thing to do at a young age. Many of us get to our age
Mhm.
never having experienced what Mia is going to experience in your
Right.
book. So
Right.
no series, yes.
I don't know
You
how long I want it to go, but maybe like two more, three more. And then, like I said, I do want to be versatile. I do want to I don't want to stick with one genre. Like I said, my first genre was romance drama. Maybe writing interracial books because I am in
uh-huh.
a interracial relationship
Okay.
of 5 years. And, I do want to put that out there too, because not like a lot of interracial couples stories get told,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it's the Black woman with a white man. It doesn't get told
Yep.
that way. So I definitely want to push that out there too, because that's still like a fair thing too to come out like that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the age difference as well too. So that can definitely help somebody else, another
Oh,
couple.
that
Yeah.
sounds like a delicious book right there. Let me tell you,
Yes.
you've got youth on your side, Cynthia. Pamela says, you know how I feel about series. Yes, Pamela Nichols, she's also an author on the bookshelf and she loves to write series. So
Oh,
we
okay.
did it. I'm telling you. So for those of you who are new to Speak Up Sis Talk Show, maybe you're even new to me, Angel Charmaine. I know Cynthia, she's new to the space as well. Let me say this. It's not a traditional interview type of show. Um, and so I go where I feel like going because it's my show and I can do that. And so, where I want to go just for a moment, because we have a few minutes left, Cynthia, if you
Mm-hmm.
don't mind, I would like to talk to you
Okay.
directly.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Listen, sis, you're 25 years old. You've got a full life ahead of you. You're
Thank
beautiful. You
you.
got a beautiful brain.
Thank
You
you.
got a beautiful face. You got a beautiful spirit. There's
Thank
a
you.
lot in you. Just listening
Oh.
to you for 23 minutes and 54 seconds. There's so much in you. Your voice
Mm-hmm.
is so strong. And I think it's important for you to know that what you have to say is so important and it's necessary. I think it's important for you to also know that what you have to say is an asset, it's not a liability. You are not a liability. You are an asset.
Thank
Understand that.
you.
Not just these babies. Babies need to hear
Mm-hmm.
what you have to say, but there are young adults who need to hear what you have to say as well. So write the young adult books, write the adult books, write your story out. Share your relationship if that's what you want to do. Share the ups and the downs and the whatevers. You got a lot to say.
Mm-hmm.
Just open up your mouth and say it.
Thank
Okay. There
you.
are people waiting to hear you. So
Yeah.
I want you to
Thank
sit
you.
with that. And I want you to take that away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Hold on to it. Okay.
I will.
All
I will.
right.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, it's all good. Listen, you got me all wired up right now. And I'm telling you, so
That's a
just
good thing.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to extend the opportunity for you to stay connected.
Okay.
Mentorship is important. As an
Mm-hmm.
author, it's good to be connected to other authors who know what you're going through, especially self-published authors. As a
Mm-hmm.
woman, it's good to have mentors, especially people who are objective, who don't know you personally, but who can just be wise counsel. And I extend that opportunity to you, and you can take me up on it or you can leave it, totally up to you. But just know that that is there. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
let's
Thank
see
you.
who we got. Oh, you are so welcome, beautiful. So we got, let me see, who is this? I don't know. Booyery. More family from Stockton. Can you go see Stockton, California? You go, girl.
Hey,
Yes, yes, yes. She ain't
Callie.
ever lied, baby, because that's what's up. Regina, how you doing? It's good to see you in the building tonight as well. So here we go, everybody. I always ask my guests if they would like to leave the people with something good. Do you have something positive to say, something encouraging, something inspiring? Do you have anything that you would like to leave our viewers with tonight?
Um, I wasn't really prepared for that, but I can say it kind of going to speak to me too, because I mean, my boyfriend knows me like the back of his hand. He knows how I am. So I want to say this, 'cause I'm speaking to myself as well in
Mm-hmm.
existence. I want to say to be more positive, confident in
Mm-hmm.
yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and to not let others tear you down, to not listen to what others have to say. Because you're gonna have your ups and downs. So you have
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that you're okay with yourself, that you love yourself, that
Yeah.
you're confident within yourself. Because if you're not, then nobody else will. Nobody else will see that. If you're negative with yourself, then you're gonna run into negative people, and they're gonna be negative
Yeah.
with you. So if you're confident about yourself, you're positive about yourself, and then you carry yourself, in a such manner, then people will look at you and be like, wow, this person is confident, this person loves herself. So then they'll start loving you and they'll start treating you the way you treat yourself. And
That's
so I
right.
guess that's my encouragement to women out there, to young women, adult women, and for children to see that as well. If they see that you're doing something and they're looking up at you. There are kids who look up to people like me and stuff like that. If they see that I'm doing something, they're going to want to do it. They might want to be a book writer and write for kids too. I
Mm-hmm.
have, read and heard that there are children that are writing children book, or that are writing books. And I think that's amazing. Like, some younger than me. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
that's
we have
crazy.
an author right here on Speak Up Sis bookshelf. Her name is Haley Moon. She's 13 and she just released her second book, actually. I think
That's,
she's about to be
wow.
14. Yeah. So
That's
children
amazing.
are writing books as well. And listen, sis, that was some good encouragement. I think
Thank
it's
you.
something we all need to be mindful of and remember in order to encourage ourselves.
Hmm.
So listen, your auntie asked a really good question. She says, how can we buy a few books so we can give them to some of our children? Great
Oh,
question. Uh,
that's a good question.
yes. So listen, everybody. Mia, the monster of fear and the fairy of courage, is listed on Speak Up Sis bookshelf. If you go to speakupsis.com/bookshelf, you will see the book. It's listed in the new releases section. You click on it and it will take you to Cynthia's site. Please know, if you're new here, I don't get any of her money, none of her coins. Okay. So if you go, Speak Up Sis bookshelf is just an easy way for you to find her instead of having to figure out how to get to her via Amazon. If you go to speakupsis.com/bookshelf, click on her book, it's going to open up. You click on the book inside the children's book section, and then her Amazon page is going to open up and you will be able to order directly from her. Okay. I like to make that clear. I don't want anybody to think that I'm taking any of her coins by you going through speakupsis.com/bookshelf. Okay. So her
Okay.
book is listed on the bookshelf. And thank you so much for trusting the platform to
You're
list your
welcome.
book with us.
Yeah,
To
you're
list the book with
welcome.
us. So
I thought it was
I
a
have
great platform.
Thank
I think it's a
you.
great platform. I'm glad you came up with something like this. I mean, we definitely need more platforms and talk shows like this that uplift women, not just, Black women, but all women, and
That's
Christian
right.
women or even non-Christian women.
That's
So,
all of us.
right. We all need
It,
it.
most definitely. Most definitely. So Valerie said, love Danielle still. I did too. I did too. So listen, everybody. If you are watching tonight, thank you, Liliana. I appreciate that. If you're watching tonight, right now, I see 10 people. That's 10 books. That's what that sounds like to me. At least. I'm not ashamed, Cynthia. Listen, anyone who watches Speak Up Sis Talk Show, they already know I am not ashamed. That's what this is about. This is a platform for self-published authors, independent authors who are making it happen without the big engines. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are supporting. You've heard her voice. You've got an opportunity to meet this sweet spirit. Go and purchase the book. Even if you don't have kids, give it to a school teacher. Give it to someone that you know. Buy it and give it away as a Christmas gift to a young child. It doesn't matter. Go purchase the book. Speakupsis.com/bookshelf. Mia, the monster of fear and the fairy of courage. Let's be a blessing to this young author and purchase the book. Okay.
Thank
You
I
are
appreciate it.
you are so welcome. And with that, everyone, we are going to wrap up for tonight. Our 30 minutes is over. Didn't I tell you it was going to go fast, Cynthia?
It really did. I don't want it to end. I still want to keep talking. Make it last for like a couple more minutes.
Let me tell you something. One thing about Speak Up Sis, all of our platforms, you're going to get your whole life together up in this space.
Yeah, it
Listen.
feels like I have so much more to say.
Yeah, listen, get that pen to paper and put it on paper and say it, sis. So listen, everybody. We are going to call it a night for tonight. I appreciate you all for joining us here on Speak Up Sis Talk Show. Please support our self-published independent authors on Speak Up Sis Bookshelf by purchasing the books that you see listed on speakupsis.com/bookshelf. If you are an independent author and you would like your book to be listed on the bookshelf, please just go to speakupsis.com/bookshelf, submit a book review form, and someone will contact you soon. All right. And with that, you all don't forget to open up your mouths and speak up. Good night. See you later, Cynthia.
Bye. Bye, everyone.